I think it's interesting here, first of all. So I want to start here with the witch battle here, yeah. So they're all like surrounding Subaru. They're all like, hey, I want to have a contract. I want to have the powers. I mean, Akina's clearly the one to like try to get that, revive power, right? And she's very, very thirsty. She's all like, I want to eat it. Yeah, so it's all about thirsty witches. That's all what it's about, right? But it's interesting here to begin with that obviously, as I guessed, and come on, like Satella's gonna appear, right? Because everyone else is there. All the other, 6 core scenes are there, so the 7th scene will come too, right? It's felt like to be a natural progression of showing all the witches, and we might finally have her actually showing her personality, right? And it might be media. Well, who knows? But yeah, no matter how that thing works, we might start actually use coming in here and talk to them, or maybe they're gonna fight. Who knows? Right? Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting final. But what I think is interesting to me is a Typhon is like, hey girl, I've seen you in a while, yeah. Like, didn't she kill them all? Like, that thing is strange, right? Why is she happy? She's like, hey, come on, join the party, which party? Yeah, like, she's just happy that she's coming. Which seems strange in many aspects, because she hates evil people, right? She hates sinners, but I guess she doesn't see her as a sinner. But then she like killed them all, right? For her, didn't thought kill them. So that's really strange. We have the lazy one is being like, she's coming over there. I won't move. I don't care about this shit. Yeah, you see her being like, whatever. It's probably fine. So, yeah, they don't really seem to really, even though she was like, oh, here comes a bad girl. Yeah, she's like, oh, this is the bad one. Even though she was kind of like that, they don't seem to really be carrying that much that she's arriving. I mean, she's happy and she's like, whatever. So, and Kina, of course, is angry, but that's mainly because she wants to take Subaru from her, right? Yeah, so Kina is the only one that seems to actually be angry when she's arriving, because clearly she wants to take Subaru from her, right? She's lusty for it, yeah, she's thirsty for Subaru. So of course she's angry that Satella is gonna come there and try to take her man, right, or whatever. But yeah, like why the other ones seem to actually like she's coming. So it's kind of weird. I'll say one thing though, and Kina is finally showing her true face, right? And she's going all crazy, but it kind of feels like maybe the whole. I want to throw a theory out here that I think is interesting, right? And that is that the whole revive thing, maybe that isn't her curse actually, right? It feels more like in Kina's like, this power is amazing, but I want it, right? It's not like, no, it's my man, I want him. But maybe she didn't create it, right? It's all talk about Satella, giving him the power and so on. But maybe she didn't. Maybe it's just something else. I don't know, like, otherwise why would she care? Unless, of course, that if Akina and him does a contract, she will lose his. Yeah, like why? Yeah, it's kind of strange that they all want that power so much, but they couldn't take it. Unless it's actually kind of taking the power from her or something. It's really fishy there. But anyway, let's go to Echidna going evil face Echidna. Oh man, I was waiting for it to betray us for a while there. Where's the evil face? That face was freaking scary. There we go. This face, guys. This is the face of nightmares. This is the face of nightmares. Oh, not thinking my best girl. Not my best girl. She's all like, the power. Yeah, the power. Yeah, and Kina shows a true evil face, but arguably, she's not overly evil though, because it's more like, I mean, she's greedy, right? She's thirsty. She's more like she's selfish. She doesn't really care about good or bad. She just wants the power. She just wants to have all this exponential funny power, right? And she clearly used tricked Byakuo, poor Beatrice. In that sense, it's very evil. But it's more like, when I look at her, what she reminds me of is like Orochimaru, right? Or Kimberly or so on. Yeah, like a mad scientist character. She's clearly evil, but she's more like a mad scientist even, right? Which is like, oh, I lied to her because that was hilarious to see what happens. Yeah. I wonder what she will do in 3 years from now. Oh, it's 400 years later. She's still doing it. What an idiot. It's more like that, right? It's more like this mad scientist, Orochimaru and so on. She's like, hey, I just give him these powers to see what happens, just to see what she will do. It's gonna be hilarious. Like, it's more like, just like crazy experimental. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do. I just wanna, So I think in that sense, she seems, of course, very evil. But it's not like she's doing evil necessarily on purpose, right? It's more like, oh, I trick someone to do something, which is evil, inherently evil. But afterwards, it's more like, well, whatever happens with poor Byakuya, it's up to her, right? Kinda. So it's like she gives her the freedom to do something, bad for her. Something. Yeah, so it's a weird thing where she's like setting them up to fail, I suppose. So that makes her evil, clearly. Like she's setting up her clones, the Madding Man and so on, to fail. So again, that is clearly inherently very evil. But if they didn't fail, she wouldn't be evil, right? In that sense. I mean, she's still evil, but so, I mean, it's kind of it's a God thing, right? General God complex thing, where it's more like, I'm just gonna give them the freedom to do whatever they want, but I'm gonna give them some kind of hinge thing, right? So if they, if they do something bad to themselves, it's not their own fault. It's kind of like that. So yeah, it is a weird, definitely godly, mad, complex kind of thing, which is like experimenting with them. Experimenting with their freedom and just, it might go good, it might be bad. So yeah, troublesome, evil betrayal there. But it was good, of course, Subaru was like, I don't want to give you my contract, I don't give you my hand. It seems, I mean, you have to assume though, right, that all the sins, right, the witch cult people, they have contracts, right, different sins, right? The Beetlejuice has, contracted with, the slot and so on, yeah, with the, and get the arm powers, right? That's how they got the powers. That's what you would assume, right? I don't know. The witches can live through them and get some of their power, something like that, and that's when they want to have contracts with them. But I think one thing interesting though, right, from like a gaming standpoint, what I would do, right, if I was Subaru, I wouldn't trust the rider for a second. I'd be like, screw you, crazy lady! But I mean, generally, when, Minerva is like, no, I want contract, and she's all angry being like, no, I'm the cutest waifu, you should pick me, it's like a waifu warrior, yeah, it's like, I'm the best, yeah. When this thing happens though, I definitely felt that, can he have more than one contract? It feels like Subaru is starting with, the Satella, yeah, he's like forced into Satella summoning contract, right? He summoned him, whatever, and is forced into being contract with her, right? Yeah, but I wonder if you could have more than one contract, right? I wonder if you could be like, I can take everyone's hands. I wonder if you could do like, everyone, unite with me, like Captain Planet. I mean, I will have everyone's powers at the same time and create a new person. I wonder if that's possible, right? But certainly, if he took the Echidna contract, he would go crazy like Beatrice or whatever. Like, he'd probably live forever and then would go insane, right? I mean, depending though, if you actually trust what she says, I mean, you could argue that he probably goes crazy, right? Turns into these monster people, but on the same time, she gives you the freedom to do what you want in a way. So as long as you do the right choices, you wouldn't go crazy, I guess. You wouldn't be evil, you wouldn't be insane. But of course, the most likelihood is that he will go cray, right? One thing I'm throwing out there though, I wonder what happened if he would accept Echidna, right? And then he goes crazy, and then he would die, so to speak, right? He goes crazy, fights some people, right? And he dies, like, a month later or whatever. Would he then be able to go back in time? And I mean, not in time from that death, but would that then send you back before you accepted her promise, right? Like it's a game here, you could save here, right? Accept to join her faction, and then, play the faction for a bit, right? And then, you reload way further back, right? Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there, but I wonder if the... Like, it just feels like accepting her contract would be a checkpoint, right? So what I mean? Like, there's like a no save return here. If you accept the contract, that's your next save point. You can't go back after that. It feels kind of like that thing, because her contract with the witch power would interfere with other witch power, and then we kind of set you on that path, right? But that's interesting, is from like a meta standpoint. Would he be able to kill himself after accepting her contract, like this next hour, and then go back further, right, before that? Maybe. I don't think so, but I think it would be interesting rule, so to speak, right? Like a rule setting. Could he be able to avoid, test out? See what I mean? Because otherwise he could take the contract, right? See what happens, and then, shoot, and then go back before the contract and be like, screw you! I saw the future! Right? Or maybe you can't do that. I think that's an interesting dynamic, how that would work, right? But anyway, it feels like all the witches kinda can contract with him. So if he's like, hey Minerva, power of love, girl! And he could get her angry, fist power, clearly the best power, to be like, I can heal me by punching her! I don't know, but it does feel like next episode, it's gonna be him being like, oh, he's Satella too, and they're all like, I want your love, and he's like, the little tiny one or something. Yeah, I pick you. It feels like, yeah, it's like pick your Pokemon. Yeah, it's like day one here of Pokemon Trainer. Who do you want to fuse? What's your partner? Who's your eye boy? Yeah, it's like what girl do you want to marry? Yeah, it's like a weird relationship thing, right? Where they all seem to kind of want to be with him. I mean, Minerva seemed to be willing to probably contract, right? Sekhmet was like, I'm just here to kind of judge or something. She was like, I'm just here to observe what's happening. But she might be lying, but she's lazy, right? So she's like, I don't want to do anything, but just happens to be here. She probably wants to do, right? She's too lazy to admit that she wants to. She's not Sundara, but she's like, I don't really care because it's too much work for me to get over there. But I mean, if you come to me instead, we can do the hand thing, right? She's probably like, I will contract with you, but only if you walk to me. It's like, yeah, I want to walk to you, right? But I mean, I'm guessing so. That being said, though, right? I do not think that Subaru is gonna take anyone, right? Yeah, it feels like he's gonna be like, no, I want Emilia. And then Satella is like, but it's me. Something, I don't know, but I'm just thinking that, he's probably won't, of course, try to contract with any of the girls, right? To avoid it. Because, I mean, he's seen how they turn crazy, right? He's seen how they, how they go cray-cray. Like Kid now, she's like, look at my powers! I'm just so thirsty! And of course she lied about how the witch world works thing. But that makes... Okay, one thing I'm thinking about that as well, though, is that because she clearly lied about you have to have one witch transporting with her thing, you can actually be all of them, the whole harem of which army can be there, right? It's clearly a big lie, as we know, that whole thing. I wonder what the actual sanctuary thing is then, right? Because all of witches can actually be there, so it might actually be her sanctuary. It's like an other dimension, maybe another, spirit, ghost plane, witch plane, yeah. It could be something else, right? Because she clearly lied about how that tea time thing works. Or it might be her own pocket dimension, they all have one of their own and they can walk in between. I mean, obviously Satella is entering her right now, right? So they can all enter it when they want to. Last thing I'm talking about, Reinhardt owning the beast! No, but it was interesting in the beginning, definitely, that by like torturing Subaru, by showing him the alternative futures that he lost, like, or he didn't move on, like seeing Beko crying, Ram being like, he's weakling, let's move on, and seeing Emilia crying and so on, right? So it was there was a weird thing, because I think that we are still, let's assume we are still on the revert time thing. So I mean, that's time rules, right? But if this anime world, or novel or whatever, if this world is like, oh, if you actually change time, you actually create a new universe, then every person, the other people are in pain, right? They actually do exist and that. But I feel that this show, though, at least to have like Subaru suffering be worse, I feel that I am at least, I think most people are assuming, right, that when he touched back time is actually just turned back, right? It turns back into previously. So the crying of Emilia and so on never actually took place, right? Or it did, but then it has to be a reality, only reality, but he's dead, right? So it has to be more realities. So I feel there's like a time rule thing there. But nonetheless, though, very interesting episode just to see like Puck fighting with Reinhardt. Or actually getting owned, I guess, but Reinhardt. But interesting to see a few other scenes there. It beats a little of the characters. But yeah, Reinhardt entering is like, hey, beast guy! And it's like, I did that. Oh, whatever, I took care of it. World is safe again. Yeah, he's so OP. Just call this guy to beat Satella. It's like Satella, fight that red guy. He's the one you want to love. Yeah, and he can just own her easily. He's kept this guy to carry the whole game. Yeah, like no one has mattered. He's flexing and everything dies. He didn't even like attack Puck. He's like his sword power. Yeah, and he just died by like his aura. He's like Ki was like, I'm so powerful, and just eradicated everything around him. It's like he's just vaporized the universe around him. He's flexing bigger than Goku. Yeah, it's like, man, this guy can carry everything. But yeah, interesting start. And then I guess her last power was like, she just turned into the woman you were in love with or whatever. I was like, oh, I just want to comfort you, so I turned into Rem. And I guess she didn't know what Rem was, but she's like, I just automatically turned into a lustful person for you, right? And it's like something like that. And it was kind of interesting because when he's like, screw you, fake Rem! Yeah, I like that. She's like, oh, I didn't mean to! I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt your feelings. This super nice little girl, like, oh, don't listen to Akina, she's evil, and I just want to help you. Oh, please, I'm sorry. Don't be angry with me. It's like, no, girl, I did my best. That was great, yeah. She's just like, leave me alone, please. I didn't mean to. Yeah, she seems to be a very nice person, but I should call her like what? What does she call her? Like the faceless bride, yeah, faceless, because she can just transform into any woman you want, right? Basically, yeah, she's like the mystique that you can just turn into any lady you wanna be with, right? I guess, yeah, that's like her power, with her lust power. But her real form is like some innocent little girl that's like, oh, miss, I don't care. Please stop being with me, be angry with the kid now. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the Penalty Best episode. See you guys next week. Subscribe, right? And of course, look at the. Yeah, all the best girls. It's all crazy, man. But yeah, I'm gonna see more next week. I have a meeting now. And, oh man, I'm gonna see Satella coming there. I'm looking at the preview, right? And I'll say one last thing, which I hope we're gonna do, is I have a friend, and he's binge-watched the whole anime now, this weekend. Hopefully I can interview him. I have a friend, pretty shy guy, but I think it'd be interesting because he has binge-watched. I got him to finally see Zero. So I finally got talking to him. I was like, come on, this is the best anime ever. So I got him to finally start watching the anime last week, right? So he started like last Friday, and he watched all the episodes during like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's fun because he messaged me, on Saturday. Oh, I love Ram, Emilia's cool. The Sunday is like, Kina is my new best girl. So it's like, he's like, Kina actually is the best girl now though. It's like he's changed his opinion in one day because he watched so many episodes. But anyway, I hope we can talk to him or something. That's interesting, talk to him a little bit. See what I get for that, but that I hope can be a video later, because I think it's interesting he's talking to someone that really has binged like all episode in like 1-2 days. See just how they are reflecting over the anime, because you was talking to him this weekend, right? He's giving me like some parts that I remember, but I didn't care that much about when they were new. He's like, oh, these things is so important. I was like, really? That thing was important? For you? It's really important. Yeah, that thing is so, and other scenes that I have been, reflecting over for years. What did Roosevelt mean, 4 years ago? He's like, whatever, that didn't matter to me. Yeah. Or he got the answer immediately the next day because he watched it all episode, right? So it's a very special, it's a very different experience watching an anime every week, right? I think very, very different, right? Same with like, whatever, One Piece for me. I really One Piece for 20 years, right? Yeah, I really One Piece every week for 20 years, right? Mass difference reading One Piece and then binging One Piece in a few days because it's so long, but it's a very different, yeah, because these kind of scenes like Pac vs. Reinhardt, no, I can think about that for a week, right? If it was like the ending. Of course, Satella is the ending thing. Or if you binge it, you immediately, okay, here's Satella, and then you binge it and say, oh, it's Satella, you should fight it, whatever. Yeah, now we can reflect instead and analyze what does this mean? What does Satella do, right? But if you binge it next week, you can just watch and see, oh, here's the fight. So it's a very different feeling because some scenes are so much more important, I feel, for you if you watch it weekly, right? Versus some other scenes that are feels very nothing if you watch binge, or vice versa, right? But for last day, I say one last point here, if you know where I'm coming from. When I watch this anime, I haven't, I'm anime only. When I watched the anime, when the first thing aired, right, 4 years ago, before I had my channel and so on, I watched it weekly then too, right? So even if I didn't have a channel back then and so on, I was always doing like anime, but I've been doing, anime watching, seasonally anime watching for like 10 plus years, right? So I was watching this anime, when it was airing. So I always only been an anime, weekly, 1 episode per week guy for LCR. So I'm thinking a lot, right? But every scene I'm like, oh, interesting. And then I talk to my friends, oh, think about this scene. Is she gonna betray him? So I've only experienced LCR as like a weekly 1 episode, very slowly. very, very slowly getting, the next scene, and analyzing and reflecting over every scene for a week, right? Until the next episode arrives. So that's where I'm coming from. But anyway, see you guys next week with, of course, the final episode. The final episode, yeah. And of course, we're gonna have more finals this week. So we're gonna have like Usaki final, breaking up with Senpai. We're gonna have, of course, Rent a Girlfriend final with Mami-chan and so on, right? So a lot of final episodes and of course some new reactions for new animes. Like I said, you get Kaitsups I really liked last Sunday. It was really good. And new openings too. I love my anime openings. Yeah, I love my anime openings. I think it's gonna be on Friday. I think it's new Fire Force with Kanabun, which is one of my favorite bands. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna do that. Of course, do the reaction to that opening. But anyway, see you guys and have a great